Hey, it's Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it's Monday. It's June 26th. This will be our chart lesson for the day, and this is going to be a pretty quick one today. As much movement as we had, there's just not a lot of trades today. Today was pretty tricky, to be honest with you. Uh, Once we had this nice move up, which we really didn't get a lot of chance to enter, and then we suddenly sold off real quickly, and then we just went sideways, and we were hung in this tight range here, and we kind of jumped up into the second tier of the range. But all this is just so tight, there's just not really much of a chance. Once we went higher here, you'd measure that one and look for a possible measured move. And that's, we got that almost to the tick. We went to one tick higher. You had a little bit of a trading, uh, not a range, but a trend channel here as well. So you get a confirmation here, but you instantly get a break and a move to a new high. And it's tempting to go long right here, but you can't go long right into that resistance in a down channel. You're better off looking for a short, and you just don't get a good short set up. You might have went short right here. I guess I should have probably marked that one green. I should have marked this one green probably. Uh, because it is there's actually a double test right here of this. I'll talk about that in a minute. I'll go ahead and give that one agreement because it does turn down off that trend line. It does confirm that trend line. Um, it's not a very good signal bar. It's kind of neutral. It's more bearish than it is bullish, I guess, but it's just not a very good signal bar. And you do have this little temporary trend line, although I would give this two-tiered one on the way down the bigger play. But you see what happened? It didn't go far. It went right into that support, and that's what you had to watch for. As long as you had room to get out before reaching that support, you might take that trade. And it would have worked on my chart. Every chart's a little bit different. So, but let's talk about the trades, and I'm going to wrap them up pretty quick. Um, I'm not feeling really well this afternoon, so I'm going to move through these pretty quickly, and we'll wrap it up today. When I came in, we had this is a spike in channel here. Notice how prices spiked up and they go into this channel, and it looks like we probably had an overshoot here after the fact. Looking at it, I put it here. It still fits here, but we just get a complete reversal there with nothing. And you might argue this is probably a little bit higher right here, and we probably did get a break and a couple of legs up to a new high looking at it after the fact. But this morning I was playing this a little lower, and if you look at it like that, it doesn't look like you got a break. But notice how you bounced a little there. So if you bring that trend line over, then it looks like you may have a break there. So doesn't matter. It's so, even if you have the line where I've got it here, it's still so questionable. If you had a sure break, that you might still have gone long here. I know a couple of people got tripped up, but if you drew that trend line off those first two swings there's a shorter term trend line, and you can see it's still holding right here. So that might lead you to be, but it's still a double test of this low as well. So there's enough reasons to consider going long here that you might have got trapped. And if you did, don't beat yourself up on that one, because that's a tough one. Most of the time, I'd probably want to take that trade. And in this particular case, it's a trap. And then it looks like it's a failed break lower, and it just makes a little lower high and turns down. So if you were already in here, I like adding on here. And the only reason you'd enter here would be because of the trap. I wouldn't be planning to go short here, except when it broke higher and turned down and gave you that bearish bar. That's a sure sign there's a trap there. And then when it bounces and turns back down again, I really like adding on there if you weren't already in. This one, if you weren't already in, you had to be a little bit concerned, maybe about this low. And had known, you'd probably be a little bit concerned about it too. But when now you've tried to go higher 4 different times, and so you're probably going to get at least a move down to the next support level, which is down in here. But this thing, the whole bottom just falls out of it. So, and that was really unexpected. I mean, that's what's so, this is not a sell-off you would be expecting after a spike in channel like that. That's a pretty good move up for just to reverse suddenly and turn down. So, but then we're moving down. We get our first close outside of this short-term trend line, and you test it once, twice, big bearish bar there. It is going short into the low, so that's why I marked it green. But it comes back and gives you a better entry here. You got plenty of room to get out. Um, and that's just another test. And plus, that does test the midline now. And here you weren't quite back to the midline. So it's a first entry, but this is a big downtrend. And you might get a second leg down like this first leg. You never know. And then it ends up, we're just kind of going sideways. You get a little push lower. And there's a reversal pattern here, but you're still in this big downtrend. And this was a huge sell-off, so you can't be looking for any longs yet. Even it looks like a little double trap here, and it kind of is, but look, you can't go long, right? Look how many times we've tested that. And if you didn't see this resistance across here, it's just because you didn't draw your line. And another trader went long right in here, and they wanted to know why it failed, but you can't go long into that. Here you get another test of it. You get the double test of this level, and here you got room to get out. It doesn't matter. It keeps pushing this time, but once it pushes through, you're looking for that measured move right there. We actually go one tick higher, and it pulls back to the trend line one more time and test this level. I'm not as crazy about this one, but you could consider, the reason I drew this one green is because this really is off the trend line, and that's a touch, and it comes back down and touches it again. So you could almost treat that like a double test of that level, and that's a big bullish bar, so you don't know that this thing doesn't keep going. And so I like trying to get in that one. If you can get out before the measured move, really you need to get out before here, and you probably couldn't get in that one without it, so that's the reason mine's green. If you had room to get out, then it's okay. Then I'd be okay with you entering that one, but otherwise you'd probably want to skip that. And then we start working back down, and you can't go short in here. I would be expecting a possible retest of this low once this plays out, but you never really get a chance to go short. The same trader that was trying to get, I think he was trying to get long over here. He tried to get short here, but notice what's happened here. You got one leg down, a little two-legged correction, then a second leg down. That's two measured legs down. So going short right there, you're going short after two measured legs down. So you're probably going to get a buy. Plus, it's right into this. This is like that support resistance line, and it does tend to act as resistance here, but I'd want to see it do that twice before I'd consider going short there. And it doesn't do that. It just bounced. It's a failed break lower, and it goes higher. You'd been better served going long there. But I wouldn't even go long right there, because look at all that. You end up getting all that congestion across there. It's just another little tiny range. And what it is, prices are just fighting between that support and resistance line there. So your best short would have really been either here or here, and that's after 2 o'clock, so I didn't mark either one of them. So yeah, it just wasn't a whole lot. You only had to catch one or two of these to have a pretty good day. But man, it was one of those days where you just have to be really patient, and you're probably better off just, most all these are green. I mean, really from 10 o'clock on, there's not even a blue or red trade. So you could argue for this one, it's real close. But that's pretty much, and you might have considered short here if it hadn't just stacked up across there and you had a nice bearish bar. You could have argued for short there. I could even buy a short here, but now you got this double bottom here where what was support is now held as, or what was resistance is now held as support twice. So I can't justify marking that one or taking that trade. But you definitely can't go short down here because now you've got your two legs down. And so, yeah, just not a, even though you had some good movement today, just not a great day. This was just a really, this was a complete fake out up here to have this what looked like such a strong rally uh, sell off so quickly. So if you got fooled there, if you got fooled on this one, I wouldn't let it bother me too much because anybody could get fooled on that because this is unexpected here. And that happens sometimes. That's why we put our stops where we do, and that's why we, if it turns out to be a trap, that's why we reverse. If you'd have got caught right here, if you reversed, you'd have made it all right back. Because you should, once it went higher here and turned down, you should have realized, hey, this is a trap. And that's what it was. It was a nice long trap, and it trapped and fooled a lot of people. And you see they're all exiting right here. That's why that shot down so quickly, because all these people that have gotten long, they got to exit now. People are trying to get out before they get a loser. People trying to lock in some profits before they give them all back, etc. And then all these people here that were trying to get along just have to exit. And that's why you get a big, huge move like that. So, but anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. Like I said, I'm not feeling really well this afternoon. And but we'll be back again to do it tomorrow. This is Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.